Hey, I know many of you who are not new to this channel are accustomed to only hearing my voice but not seeing my face. So since the transition from the code name SISTA podcast to the Reformed SISTA podcast, I figured let's do this a little differently. Let's let you see my face, my hair, just who I am on the other side. So that for one, you'll see that I'm not a whole lot different than anybody else. I don't know. I don't look weird, I don't think. you know, I'm not here promoting any makeup lines, hair lines, wig lines, weave lines, extensions. I'm just here sharing some of the things, some of the insights I've had over the 54 years of my life, pressing real hard on the gas at 55. Because for one, I think that it is of value, and that is why that is something that the elders always did. They passed down knowledge, and they passed it down as elders because when we're younger, we're still trying to find ourselves. So who we are, who we believe ourselves to be this week, we may not necessarily be next week. And growth is something that occurs for a lot of us, no matter what our age. We're constantly learning and processing and putting aside those things that don't serve us and taking up the things that do. But at a certain age, though, we have collected so much knowledge about what works and what doesn't. And just to share that with our the children that are coming behind us, to help them even if you decide to bump your head anyway, I want you to know you can't say nobody ever told you that it was new to you, the news, because there's been someone here trying to impart some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge to you. Now, you do have to walk your own path. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to go through life. You're still going to bump your head. But there's certain wisdom that'll help you even when you do that to self-correct. And I am a big believer in self-correction. Even at 54 years old, I still self-correct. Just like I tell people, there's two things about me. I'm self-correcting and I'm self-entertaining. And when you're self-correcting, other people don't really have to come to you and say, hey, you're screwing up. You begin to recognize it because you see the signs. And it's like, okay, let me get my stuff together. All right? Same thing with self-entertaining. A lot of times that's how we end up in these relationships that are not healthy for us, is because we want other people to entertain us. We walk around in the world with the idea that we need other people to make us happy. We need other people to give us the drive to do things, to find a purpose in our life. We need it from everything that we need is outside of ourselves. And that could not be furthest from the truth. Everything you need, you're born with it. Everything else is an enhancement. That's all it is. And even when it's taken away, if you are self-correcting, self-entertaining, self-healing, you can get yourself back on the right track. Yeah, you might not be real happy initially, but the more you put back into yourself, the more you build yourself up, and it's not based on how other people see you or approach you or engage with you or what they are to you. When you give up these ideas that so many of us have been programmed with to believe that is necessary to our survival, you'll be better off for it. Okay? So, again, caring about yourself, being okay with yourself, by yourself, And we all want companionship. We're gonna just be honest about this. People want companionship for different reasons. So we have to be honest with ourselves about why we want companionship. And notice I said want, because when you start needing things outside of yourself, that's where you go into that mucky area where it's not so healthy anymore. When you need, that's like in a relationship. You want to be in a relationship where you are wanted. Okay? Because I consider that an even exchange. If I want you and you want me, there's an even exchange that can take place there. But if you want me and I need you, I might suffocate the hell out of you, because my need could be so extreme that you don't have any room to breathe. And so you distance yourself. And a lot of people do that. And a lot of women are caught up with this faulty idea of need being loved, and it's not the same thing. And then we expect this also from men. We think we believe that men should also have this idea of love, need, that we have, that they should think the way we think, operate the way we operate. And that's not realistic. It's not realistic. So those are just some of the things that I'm going to be talking about on the Reformed SISTA podcast. Because as the name implies, I have been reformed. I have worked, and I continue to work on shedding so much of the programming that is out there that has basically served as an impediment to my own progress. Not just as a woman, but as a human being, of knowing my place in the world, my purpose in the world. And that's why it's taken so long for that transition that I did from the code name sister to the reform, because I had to admit that I needed some reforming, that there were some parts of me that were broken that I needed to go in and I needed to fix. I needed to be my own mechanic, because I couldn't trust the shady tree. I can't trust the major dealership one. I had to trust my own, because I've been with me since the day I was conceived. Nobody else has been with me longer. No one else will be with me as long. So I have to take those things into my own hands. And by my own hands, I have to establish a purpose, live according to that purpose, be self-correcting, be self-entertaining, be self-nurturing, self-healing. I got to give to self. And when I give to self, that becomes attractive to other people. And when I say attractive, I'm not necessarily, matter of fact, I'm not talking about on an intimate level where you go and you have sex and all of that. I'm saying good people, period. You become a magnet when you take care of all those selves that I just spoke about. So that's where you start your journey, so that you then land, like I said, on your self-purpose. And this is part of my purpose. Talking to you on a regular basis is going to be part of my purpose at the Reformed SISTA podcast. Thank you. Welcome.